Dan and I were sitting in his office one day, and in that particular meeting, we were reflecting on this idea of the evil genius, the fact that oftentimes it seems that creativity and dishonesty come together. At that time, we were reading news about the fact that Bernie Madoff was very creative with his Ponzi scheme. And so we started wondering what creativity does to people. We ended up going into the lab and studying that further. We created situations where people would be asked to be creative or where creativity was primed. And then we asked the people to use the matrix task. And what we found was that when people are in a creative mindset, they're more likely to come up with lots of justifications for why what they're about to do is morally okay and is justifiable.
PR and marketing, almost by their very nature, involve the sort of the step onto the slippery slope. What do? You have to create something from nothing. And because of that, I kind of just made it up as I went along. I'd been reading this blog, I thought it was really funny. The blogger's name was Tucker Max, and the blog was stories about like drinking and hooking up. It's this gonzo style of storytelling where this guy's going around doing crazy things, getting in all sorts of trouble. They're really funny and hilarious, but controversial and messed up and evil and awful all at the same time. And I was attracted to something in this writing, and I think it was the honesty and the sort of the authenticity of the way the author was presenting himself. I was just sort of fascinated by it, and I end up emailing the blogger and I say, like, I want to work for you, I'll do whatever you need. There was talk that he would do a book, and he didn't have a publicist or anything. I ended up working on that campaign. It was like, okay, we have this book. I think people would like it. How do we get people to know about it? And because we had nothing, we could try anything. I knew this one blog linked to him a lot, and I was like, how have you got that? And he was like, oh, I just send them fake emails pretending to be either a fan of my stuff or hating my stuff, and I trick them into linking about me. So it's like, okay, if that worked with this site, would it work with these bigger sites? Would it work with newspapers? Would it work with television?
John, the book is called I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell, and frankly, there is not much in it that can be repeated on a nice family show like yours.
Tucker Max, author of I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell. Classy.
And so we tried all this new stuff, and it ended up working. The book sold close to 2 million copies. After his book became this big bestseller, he ended up producing a movie based on the book. We'd seen how effective controversy had been with driving sales of the book. So it was like, why don't we make this one of those movies that people boycott and say don't go see? Because we knew that our audience would go see it precisely because of that. We ended up trying these tactics of like, well, let's get people to protest. Let's make people horrified so they talk about it more. We would send anonymous emails to LGBT groups on campus, women's groups on campus. We designed these really offensive ads. There was jokes about midgets, strippers, blind people. I went out and I vandalized these ads. I put these like offensive stickers all over them. Then I took photos and then I leaked those photos to these 2 small blogs in Los Angeles. They run this big story, and then that starts to get more and more media coverage. And then people start vandalizing the billboards for real in all these other cities. My staff began calling the Chicago Transit Authority to protest about these offensive ads.
Chicago Transit Authority.
They put out an announcement that they were banning the ads from the city and they were pulling them all from the buses, which is exactly what we wanted because now this is a news story. The Chicago Tribune actually ran an editorial lauding the CTA's decision to pull the ads. And now it was this sort of full-fledged, massive controversy. In New York City, this group organized a citywide protest/vandalization of the billboards, and they invited the media along, so it got more press there. It became difficult for me to know where the line was.
She wants me to sign underwear.
What we were doing was generating chatter about the movie. But if you step back and you look at it, it's like you're deceiving more and more people. And then once it started, it couldn't stop, and it just carried on under its own power.